Many who are called to a higher purpose often find themselves battling deep, hidden struggles with lust. It's a topic rarely spoken about openly, yet it's more common than you might think. The Bible offers insight into why this silent battle hits so hard, especially for those chosen by God. Take King David, a man after God's own heart who faced a powerful temptation with Bathsheba, or Samson, whose incredible strength was overshadowed by his weakness for Delilah. These stories remind us that even the most anointed face fierce spiritual battles. So why does lust seem to target those set apart? It's not simply human weakness. Ephesians 6:12 tells us we're fighting not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of darkness. Lust is a spiritual attack aimed at those carrying a divine calling, a battle on a whole different level. Have you ever felt this struggle personally or seen it in others? Understanding this spiritual reality is the first step toward overcoming it. Let's dive deeper into what the Bible teaches about this hidden fight. When you're called to a higher purpose, your spiritual senses are often heightened. You become deeply aware, not just of God's presence, but also of the enemy's schemes. This spiritual sensitivity is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it draws you closer to God, but on the other, it makes you a prime target for temptation. Lust is one of the enemy's most powerful weapons to distract and weaken those set apart. The more anointed someone is, the more the enemy tries to derail their spiritual growth by planting seeds of temptation. It's not just about human weakness. It's a spiritual attack aimed to slow down God's work through His chosen. Have you ever felt like the battles you face go beyond the physical or emotional, touching something deeper inside? That's often the spiritual battlefield at work, reminding us to stay vigilant and lean on God's strength every day. Being called to a special purpose often means walking a path that few truly understand. This can lead to a deep sense of isolation, feeling alone even when surrounded by others. For many chosen ones, this loneliness becomes fertile ground for secret battles with lust. Without strong connections or accountability, these struggles stay hidden in the shadows, making them harder to overcome. The enemy loves to exploit isolation because it cuts off the support and encouragement we need. Have you ever felt that loneliness creeping in during your spiritual journey? Remember, you don't have to fight these battles alone. Building trusted relationships and finding accountability can be the key to breaking free from hidden struggles and walking boldly in your calling. When God calls someone to a high and holy purpose, the battles they face often become more intense. The greater the calling, the stronger the spiritual attacks. Lust isn't just a random struggle, it's a targeted tactic to distract, drain, and distance those chosen by God from their divine mission. Think about it. The enemy knows that if he can pull someone away through temptation, he can slow down or even stop God's work in their life. That's why many great leaders and spiritual warriors throughout history have fallen, not because they lacked faith, but because they underestimated the power of this silent battle. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a struggle that seemed bigger than you? Remember, this is part of the spiritual warfare that comes with being chosen. But it's also a call to strengthen your armor and stand firm in God's power. Many who are called carry deep emotional wounds, pain from rejection, abandonment, or past heartbreaks. These wounds leave open doors for the enemy to sneak in. Lust often shows up as a false comfort, a counterfeit way to fill the emptiness left by those scars. It's heartbreaking how these moments of vulnerability can trap someone in a cycle of sin and shame, making it feel impossible to break free. But understanding this connection is crucial. The enemy knows exactly where to strike, right where the heart is most fragile. Have you ever noticed how emotional pain can make temptation stronger? Healing those wounds through God's love and truth is the key to closing these doors and walking in freedom. Even those with great spiritual gifts and a powerful calling remain human, vulnerable and weak in the flesh. No matter how anointed someone is, the battle against lust intensifies when spiritual discipline is lacking. Without consistent prayer, fasting, and renewing the mind, the flesh grows weak, leaving room for temptation to take hold. It's a reminder that spiritual strength requires daily effort and intentional focus. Have you ever noticed how neglecting your spiritual practices makes certain struggles harder? The greater the calling, the more we need to armor ourselves with discipline, because victory in these battles comes from God's power working through our dedication. Lust is a silent battle that many who are called to a higher purpose face alone. But victory is possible. Through spiritual discipline, accountability, and healing from within, those struggles can be overcome. The enemy wants to trap us in a cycle of temptation and shame, but God's power is greater than any battle we face. So the question remains, will you fight back with the strength God provides, or will you let the enemy win? Remember, you are not alone in this fight. Lean into God's grace, surround yourself with support, and commit to the journey of healing and victory. If this message encourages you, take a moment to reflect on your own battle and reach out for the help and spiritual tools you need. God's purpose for your life is worth the fight.